One of the more common questions I hear is, how should I be training my legs at this age without hurting myself and still get results? Because what worked at 30 clearly isn't going to work now at 50 or 60. I mean, a lot has happened to you in the last 25 or 30 years. Am I right? And I don't want folks to avoid taking action out of fear. I mean, because that's the very reason they end up losing strength, balance, and confidence over time. I've spent 16 years training clients and watching many adults train legs even on their own. What helps, what backfires, and quietly what undermines their progress. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 things that adults over 50 consistently get a little off track about leg training and exactly what to do instead so that your legs become stronger, more resilient, and better at supporting you over the long haul. This isn't about pushing harder. It's not about criticism either. I mean, we can all learn from each other in this grand experiment. But now we have lots of real data to back up what we see before our eyes. And it's about training smarter so our legs actually can carry us forward as we age. Mistake number 1. Folks avoid training legs because they're afraid of injury. That's fair. I mean, this is probably one of the biggest ones. A lot of people over 50 associate leg training with knee pain, back pain, falling, or doing something irreversible. So maybe they don't skip leg training altogether even, but they do such light and cautious movement that nothing meaningful actually changes. Here's the truth. Avoiding leg training actually increases injury risk over time. Weak legs mean less joint stability, poor shock absorption, reduced balance and reaction time. So what should we do instead? Train your legs progressively, not aggressively. That means start with movements you can control. And in doing that, prioritize range of motion and your alignment so that your form is really good and you're fully working that whole exercise. And then gradually add resistance over time. That's it. Make sure that the 3 or 4 reps, the last ones in your set, are noticeably challenging. That's how you know it's heavy enough. It's not crazy. Strength protects joints. Muscle is armor. And confidence comes from knowing your body can handle load. Mistake number 2. Folks think that walking is leg strength training. Now, walking is wonderful. I encourage it. Keep doing it if you're doing it. But walking is not specifically strength training. Walking is repetitive, low load, and primarily endurance-based. It improves circulation. It supports heart health. It improves insulin sensitivity. It reduces stress. It supports emotional regulation. It helps to form consistency in your habits and it's easy to sustain. So walking is good. But again, it's not strength training. I use walking as a baseline activity, not a strength plan. To truly train your legs, you need resistance, load, and challenge. And this can be squats or sit to stands, lunges or split squats, step ups, then onto leg presses and hip hinges like deadlifts. You don't need a barbell, but you do need resistance to make the muscles adapt. Mistake number 3. Folks avoid squats and hinges because they think they're bad for you. I hear this often enough. I don't squat because it's bad for my knees. I don't deadlift. I don't want to hurt my back. And here's what's actually bad. Poor mechanics and inappropriate loading hurt your knees and hurt your back. Squatting and hinges are human movement patterns. We've been doing those motions since the dawn of time. You know, Sitting down, standing up, picking things up, getting up off of the ground. Avoiding these movements doesn't protect you. It makes you less capable. So what to do instead? Modify the movement. Don't eliminate it. Here's some examples of what I mean. Like box squats or chair squats, goblet squats for better posture, hip hinges with light dumbbells or kettlebells, even elevating your heels if your ankle mobility is a little limited or you want to target your quads more. These movements teach your body how to absorb force, generate power, and stay stable under load. That's aging well. Mistake number 4. They train their legs either too often or not enough. We're seeking that Goldilocks zone here. That's where I'm going. So this one surprises people because some adults over 50 train their legs constantly. High reps, classes, machines, pickleball, everyday running. And they wonder why they're always sore, always tired, always getting a sprain or a pull somewhere, or they're tight, or they have twinges. And then the worst part of it is they're not getting any stronger. Others barely train their legs at all because recovery takes too long. I don't have the energy for it today. It's really hard. A version of this practice is thinking upper body is everything. There's this guy, I can see him in my gym. Maybe you've seen this too in your own workouts, who trains on his own. And almost every day he's doing heavy bicep curls and really heavy chest presses lying on the bench. And he has massive arms, really built. And he repeatedly flexes for the mirror to be sure his arms and chest are looking good. I mean, a little of that's okay. Sometimes we need to create our own positive feedback. I get it. But he has this massive chest and shoulders and biceps. And he never looks down to notice his legs are like toothpicks. I mean, I'm not trying to be harsh here. It's just an imbalance. So he doesn't have those meaty haunches to match his massive upper body, the upper half of his body. So both of these approaches miss the mark. Too much, too little. Goldilocks zone. That's where you want to be. Here's what to do instead. Train legs with intention. Plan for it and allow for recovery. For most adults over 50, 1 to 2 focused leg sessions per week is ideal. Volume should be manageable and recovery days matter a lot. So that's important. That's a good time, actually, going back to the previous one, and the in-between days, go for that walk. That's when you want that nice recovery and the movement and the mood elevation and the stress management. And you're not taxing those deep muscles the way you do when you train on leg day. Just remember, I've said this before, muscle doesn't grow in the gym while you're training. That's when your muscles get the signal that something needs to happen. Happens when you are resting and recovering. So as we age, respecting recovery isn't weakness. It isn't laziness. It's a winning strategy. Mistake number 5. Folks can fall into the trap of focusing only on feeling the burn as the proof that they're getting stronger. There's this belief that leg workouts must burn hard and exhaust you and leave you shaking and trembling. That's not the goal anymore. At least not every time you train. I mean, sometimes you will feel the burn at the end and be trembly and gassed out, but this shouldn't be every leg day training experience. In mid and later life, the priority shifts from punishment to performance. What to do instead? Focus on progressive overload, strength gains, improved control, and confidence. Ask better questions. Questions like, am I stronger than last month? And is my balance improving? Or do going up the stairs, especially multiple flights, feel easier on my legs? And how fast am I recovering? Is that getting better? These are just a few markers of real success, not just size, not just blasting and burning every time you train legs. So training your legs after 50 isn't about chasing soreness or aesthetics. It's about staying metabolically strong. Those leg muscles are your best weapon. Protecting your brain. Friends don't let friends skip brain day. Maintaining your independence as you get older. And sending your body a clear message. I am still capable and I need you, because your legs are your foundation. In fact, the two markers that I hear about over and over again out there in the science sphere of longevity doctors and what they measure as indicators of healthy aging are grip strength and leg strength. Now, there may be more indicators that rise to the surface to come, but these are the two metrics we know so far that are directly indicators of lifelong strength and lengthening that runway for you. So how you train those beloved legs of yours, the only ones you get for a lifetime, they will directly shape how you age and how you experience your life from here to infinity. If this video helped you rethink your leg training, join our community. Make sure you subscribe. We want you here. And let me know in the comments which of these mistakes you've run into yourself. Either you find yourself doing it or you see it out there and think, Janet, what's that all about? This is the place to ask. If you're new here, I answer comments. So you can actually ask a trainer. I mean, I wish there was one of me out there when I got started, because I had a lot of questions. Until next time, we're here to train smarter, not smaller, as we get older. See you next time.